Welcome to today's Thought for the Day. I'm Paul Hardingham, the Vicar of St Peter's, and today we're looking at the end of Matthew's Gospel. You'll find the passage in Matthew 28, verses 16 to 20. This section is often described as the Great Commission, Jesus' final words to his disciples after the resurrection. And Jesus said this: "All authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Therefore go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey everything I have commanded you. And surely I am with you to the very end of the age." I like the story of the vicar who was visiting a hospital ward of elderly patients. He came to a lady who seemed very excited to see him. Responding to her excitement, he said, "Do you know who I am?" The lady smiled and answered, "No, but if you go to the front desk, they'll be able to tell you." The story, of course, is about identity. And Jesus here highlights our identity as disciples. We can best understand that word in terms of being a learner or a student. To be an effective follower of Jesus means being good at listening to him and good at putting his words into practice. A disciple is someone who listens to what Jesus has to say because all authority has been given to him. We believe that Jesus is alive, that he's right about everything he said. Therefore, we're called to live as he would live in our shoes. Even in lockdown, Jesus has guidance for how we should behave. For example, how we handle fear and anxiety, how we use our time to the best, and how we can deal with our kids' homeschooling. Are we willing to put into practice what Jesus says to us? Are we teachable, recognising that we don't have all the answers and often get things wrong? After all, disciples by definition are learners, not know-it-alls. So for disciples of Jesus, the disciplines of reading the Bible, prayer and silence are invaluable and important if we are to hear what Jesus is saying to us. I wonder if we're engaged in those disciplines. Lockdown gives us a bit more time to think about those things. However, this passage also tells us that for Jesus, he calls his followers to go and make disciples. We're called to help others to become disciples of Jesus, just like us. He sends us out into the world to learn to live his life to the full and then show others what that means for them. We're not simply passing on a belief system that he's given us. We want to demonstrate the life of Jesus as he taught it and help others to live that for themselves. There's a powerful balance in the words of Jesus. Teach them to obey everything I have commanded you. Being a disciple can never be reduced simply to obeying Jesus in a private way without showing others what it means. Nor can it be simply telling others without demonstrating that our life has changed. It is both living the Jesus message and influencing others to follow the same. Now, of course, in lockdown, it's not easy to do this, is it, where we're called to stay in our homes. However, just as Jesus was talking to all of his disciples as a group together, so these words are not just to us individually. They're addressed to a scattered group of followers today in Bolton. That's why we've set up neighbourhood churches, not only as a way to support one another in lockdown, but also as a means by which we can reach out to our neighbourhoods where we live to share with others the love of God. I heard this week, for example, of some of our neighbourhood churches that got involved in a project in making small sets of small matching material hearts. These are given to unwell patients in our hospital and hospice, and then a matching one is also given to their relative. As the patients are mainly end of life and separated from their families, these hearts are a real blessing as they bring these people together. Now, amazingly, our folk, within a couple of days, had managed over 100 sets of hearts to get donated. That's amazing, isn't it? In the Mission Impossible films, which I'm sure you've seen, there's always that challenge at the beginning. Your mission, should you choose to accept it? My question is, have we accepted this mission from Jesus, not only to be a disciple, but also to make more? Of course, this isn't mission impossible for us. As this passage reminds us, we have the promise of Jesus' risen presence and power with us daily. After all, didn't he say, "Surely I am with you always to the very end of the age"?